for now on, I think I'll give a little bit of introduction to Jakub. Jakub runs West London based IT support business, and it's member with us, since really beginning, and he helps lots of other members to set up all the kind of IT security stuff, and I'd love to hear from Jakub a little bit more insights about whether our computers can be affected by coronavirus. That is the question. But feel free to ask questions. Jakub will have a more opportunity to, more clue how we will gonna run this session. But Jakub, if you could just start, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you very much, Bart. So as Bart started to introduce me, I'm running FX7 Solutions. We are providing infrastructure support for small and medium businesses in West and Central London area. Today's presentation, I have a slides I would like to show you as well, but in general, I don't want to this to be only about me speaking.
Can you speak louder, please? Sorry.
Yes,
because
yes.
I can't hear you very well.
Okay, let me put let me just increase the volumes in my settings then. Just a moment. Okay, can you hear me better now? Can you hear me? Okay.
I mean, I can. I don't know about other people, but it's very difficult.
I think you might want to put the volume up because other people are hearing me properly, I think.
Maybe that's the reason. I've got my earbuds, so that.
I've got my volume 100% now, so I can't really increase. Okay.
Do you have the something
headphones,
like to put like earphones or?
I've got.
Yeah, so put the headphones. Definitely, it will help out.
Help.
Okay, how about anyone else? Are you okay to hear me? Okay, fine. So what I would like to say that is I will be running a presentation, but feel free to comment and ask questions during the presentation rather than afterwards, because this was supposed to be presentation, but with this amount of people, I think we should just really have a chat about that. Okay. So I would like to answer the question from the title of the presentation first. Can your IT system be infected by coronavirus? And the answer for that is, of course, not, because this is not a virus affecting computers. But I thought that I would give such a title to the whole event today. And I would like to start about the same as everyone else is starting. I think that every time you are hearing about the coronavirus, COVID-19 lockdown and everything, everyone say we need to consider that the changes will be affecting whole world, and then we will be in the lockdown, and there will be a new normal. And the question is, when it will be, because the changes that we are making at the moment, we don't know if we need to do them just for now, do we need to do them for months, or we don't know if we will not be in the actual lockdown for years. So it might be that the new normal will be just a lockdown situation as we are at the moment. But if all the lockdown rules will be lifted up, question is, we will get back to the old ways of working or not? And I must say that many people found that actually the way of working in the lockdown, which is mainly home working, is something good and beneficial for them, and as a businessman, as a workers as well, to work from home, for example. And some people, of course, will be insisting to get back to the same rules that we have got before, but I think many people will employ the ways of working that we are doing now because they are more efficient. They can be more cost effective. For example, if you have got a large office and you find that you can put half of your staff at home, and then rent or change your office to something smaller, then it can be a financial benefit as well. So for many people, organizing homeworking for themselves and their employees was a quite makeshift solutions. Now it's the time to rethink the strategy. We can establish what works, what does not work, and what we need to adjust or replace. Many people have also discovered the online tools. You know, we have had discussion here with Bart and Anna regarding Zoom, and apparently Zoom wasn't very popular up until now in Europe. It is American software, and it hasn't been used in Europe very much. So in general, people are using more communication packages like Slack, Skype, WhatsApp, Teams, and several others. Several businesses started also to use software which is used for their project management, like Trello or Asana or Basecamp. You know, sometimes people were managing their so they were managing their projects just using maybe Excel and so on. So I forgot to just run the presentation in the meantime. Okay, so that's the second part. Okay, so some people are, of course, now have time to put more efforts into their marketing online. They got started or rediscovered their CRM systems. So there are many people who just got back to blackboards in terms of their running their business. So they withdrawn themselves from the operations and started to use their marketing software. Speaking about the CRM and marketing, Bart will run a meeting on 15th of May, which will be about the HubSpot. So you are welcome to come. I hope I will be there because I just need to do the same to learn about the HubSpot because some people recommended it to me and said that it's brilliant. So we'll see. Okay, and another way that people have increased their productivity is to integrate systems together. That is again something that people were maybe not doing because they had no time before. The lockdown time when the business is slower for many, it's good to have a look what you are using, what you can connect together to use the same data and automate all the processes in the business. Okay, but in general, I would like to also pass you some information about IT as because security is something which is very often overlooked when you are looking for setting up your stuff or even yourself from home. In many cases, people are not having a business laptop or business computer provided by the employer to work from home. And it may happen that the computers which you don't know what is their origin, I mean, home laptops of your employees become part of your IT infrastructure overnight. And this can be very dangerous for your systems because you don't know what they have on their laptops. Do they have proper antivirus? Do they have a patch system? And all the security is up to the scratch, you know, with their computer. So we need to remember that IT systems that are used from in your office and or offices are much more secure sometimes. That sometimes random machines that are becoming part of your business infrastructure overnight. So if you want to use employees' computers, people's computers for your business, probably it would be good to check them out, to check if they are properly set up. And I will give you a few examples what needs to be checked in a moment. But if you are not sure or you want to feel more confident, probably the best way is to provide them with the computers from the company. I'm not telling that, you know, remove all your desktop computers. You can buy some laptops and provide them to people. you can buy second-hand laptops even. It's you know, if you feel that the lockdown will be up in a few weeks, few months, then maybe there is no point spending, I don't know, 600, 800 pounds per laptop. You can buy for 200 something used and then give it to people. So there are several ways. So while setting up an employees to work from home, we need to remember that the security of the actual computers is the most important bit to start with. You need to make sure that they have antivirus software, their Windows is up to date. They use not outdated software packages. It can be the case, for example, in October of this year, Office 2010 comes out of support. This happened to Windows 7 as well at the beginning of this year. In January, Microsoft stopped to support Windows 7, and in October they will stop to support Office 2010, which means that if you are using it for the business, this can be dangerous, because if there is a security flaw discovered in this software, your computer will not be protected, and that means that the cyber criminals can use it for their advantage. Second thing I would like to mention is two-factor authentication. 2FA means that when you are logging into the system, you need to provide a second authentication factor, as the name says, which means that you provide like a second password, which can be a text message sent to your phone. It can be a code which is generated by the app on the phone. It can be a code sent to the email. There are several different ways of introducing two-factor authentication, but my advice is to use it wherever you can. This protects your systems as well, because imagine if there is a laptop and it is lost or stolen and there is no two-factor authentication, before you reset the password, someone can get into your system, download data, whatever the system protects. So very much industry standard software at the moment is offering two-factor authentication. I'm speaking here about things like Google, Office 365, I don't know, Facebook even has two-factor authentication. So you can protect pretty much everything with 2FA, and I would strongly recommend to do that. And of course, people need to remember about the mobile devices, which I'll tell about in a moment. Of course, when people are working from home, it is good to use virtual private network. VPN is a way of working. It protects data while it travels. That means that it creates a secure channel in the internet that no one can have a look into. That means that when you can connect your computer to the server in the office and use it as you would be sitting in the office, but this is not prone to be cracked because it's using very strong encryption, and that means that the data cannot be snooped and eavesdropped. Okay, and this is exactly important if you are using public Wi-Fi hotspots. So, like in the cafe, I know that we cannot go to the coffee shop now and work from there, but there are public Wi-Fi hotspots like BT's hotspot, or I don't know. Sometimes even councils are installing public Wi-Fi hotspots. So whenever you are using this to access the data within your systems, in your network, I would strongly recommend to do so. The another important bit with the VPNs is that the files which our employees are opening on their computers are never stored on the actual computer. I'll give you an example. When you have a Dropbox, in many cases, the copy of your Dropbox is stored on the laptop. If it is lost, then the files are still there and someone can get into these files. Even if you disconnect the laptop from the Dropbox account, the files still can be accessed. With a VPN, you block the account or change the password, and the VPN connection is already closed, which means that no one can open any file. And while you're opening a Word document, for example, through the VPN, you edit it and you save it. It is saved on the actual server in your office, and it is never stored on the laptop. So even if you lose your laptop, this becomes there is no threat to actual data. As Bart mentioned, there were a few questions regarding online meeting security, and I would say that this is a twofold problem. First of all, there is a problem with the security holes in actual software. So there were several reports that Zoom, for example, has many security holes and so on and so on. But the second factor is that there is a human factor. That means that you need to really look who is attending your meetings, especially if you're running a public webinar through software like Zoom, and you have, I don't know, 100 people who are coming. You don't want to, maybe you don't want to allow everyone. The same if you are running a company meeting, you don't want to someone from your competition to connect if, for example, link is leaking out. There are several situations that the link becomes public when it shouldn't, and for this reason, I would strongly recommend using solutions like a lobby or password protect the meeting and so on and so on. So there are, as I said, several measures from the technical standpoint, and but also it's a human part of it, and this also is regarding, sorry, the security should be also applied to the phone systems. Many companies at the moment using something which is named voice over IP. These are the telephones which are using internet to connect to the telephone network. And these kind of phones are using the accounts which are similar to email accounts. They have a username and password. If you lose, or so for some reason someone cracks your username and password to the SIP account, which is the proper name of the account used for the VoIP phones, then they can make calls and they can call whatever they want.
Wow.
They can call Seychelles, and you know, you can receive thousands of pounds worth of bill, and your provider will not. They will tell you you lost your account, you lost your security. So why it's important in the COVID-19 situation is because many people are having their phones installed in the office, and when they are moving to the home working, they tend to install an app on their mobile phone, which is emulating a actual phone on the desk. You can use like a Skype. You know, Skype is a VoIP service as well. You can make calls from Skype to the normal phone number if you really like. You need to have some kind of plan for that and so on. But in general, you can use VoIP phones on the software phones. You don't need to have actual hardware on your desk. You can use software to emulate your phone network. So when people move home, they don't take their phones home. They are installing an app and they are receiving the calls as they would be in the office. If the password and the username is stolen to these particular accounts, as I said, they can call whatever they want, and they can sign you up to the premium services. They can call their own premium service, for example, making them money, and you will need to pay for that. That's the whole point about that. Okay. There are also lots of scams happening. Of course, you know, even before the COVID-19, we have got lots of scams, phishing emails, and so on. I don't want to tell you the whole story about that, but the case is that the scams now are like getting into the COVID-19 subject as well. I will show you a few examples at the moment, but the important bit is to be vigilant for the social engineering. There are several new ways cyber criminals exploit the pandemic situation. For example, fraudsters scam people looking for to buy protective face masks, hand sanitizers, and so on. and other products. But of course, they can set up dodgy online shops. They can take your money and never deliver any face masks, for example. There are also I saw such examples that there are investments telling that because there is a slowdown, because all businesses are almost stopped, there is an advantage investments. Please invest, please put your money. You will earn a lot of money because there is slowdown. There are several things, but in general they are using COVID-19 theme to them. I will show you a few examples, as I said, in a moment, so you'll see how it works. Cyber criminals exploit fear and uncertainty. Spam emails utilizing COVID-19 subject to make people open infected documents, click links containing malware, etc. Many use subject like WHO news about COVID-19, financial help to people who lost their jobs. Phishing list is growing all the time. This is the link that I would recommend you to visit. This is listing all the cyber attacks with the COVID-19 subject in them. Okay, and so the last point that I would like to mention is that people simply sit more in front of the computer. Okay, they spend more time in the internet, and this can lead that they are trying to visit new kind of websites that they never visited. That means that they can go to some dodgy websites, as I said, investments, casinos, whatever, which is very new for them, and they can not understand how it works. If you came across some kind of scam before, you probably will be not tricked into that. But if someone first time sees something like pay us £1,000, we'll pay you 2,000 in few days, they can fall for that because they never seen that. Okay, so this is why it's very important that be vigilant, inform your I don't know, elderly, for example, because you may have in a family people who are not very internet savvy, but to kill time they can spend a lot of time on the internet. So the last thought that I would like to pass on is just as you would not avoid touching objects and surfaces that are not clean during the COVID-19 situation, so should you avoid opening emails and other communication from unknown parties. Avoid visiting untrusted websites, and as always, even if it is not COVID-19, if you don't know who it is from or you are not sure, always speak to someone who can check for you if it is safe or not. And at the end, as I said, I would like to show you a few examples of the emails, and not only emails that I found in the internet, but I also received some of the emails showing what it is. This is the dodgy document, as you see, from the World Health Organization, speaking that review the document about specialists, whatever, that the WHO found something. And of course, this is RAR file, which is a archive, and this is most likely containing some kind of virus, which you will double click and open, and so on. Of course, people who are interested into the coronavirus subject and so, for example, vaccine development, they are most likely to click that. This is the dodgy website, which is asking people for donations to help fight coronavirus. This is like, we are a charity collecting money to help heal people or develop the vaccine. And of course, you can donate, but this will never go to anything which will develop the vaccine. It will go to the pocket of scammers. So as you see at the very top, there are again WHO and some like trusted entities logos that is to put this website more to be more like genuine, but it's not, of course. Okay. This is the email that I have received. As you see, this is addressed to me. This is about the audio conferencing, which I missed on 29th of April. So I clicked actually on this link, and it has diverted me to the page which looked like an Office 365 login page. Most of the businesses these days are using Office 365, and it exactly looked as a proper login page, and it even put my email address into that. So if I would put my password in, they would have my password, and off they go. Of course, as you see, they have my name as well, because it is spelled with the capital J. That means that this is not taken from my email, because my email is jakub@fx7.co.uk, but they have some database including my name, and this was sent, I believe, yes, 29th, as you see, at 3 o'clock. So it is like an event which happened a few hours before. So when you missed something a few hours ago, you want to find out what it is about, and yes, log in to get access to the missed conference recording or something like that. But also, this is not only about emails and website. This is about text. This is actual text that came to me a couple of weeks ago. And this website is also already not working. This has been already put down, the same as the previous example as I show you. But in general, this kind of emails, or is it about the vaccine, about getting financial support, this is especially for people who are maybe not business owners, for people who are furloughed or just lost their job or something like that. These kind of text messages are easy win for the scammers. So really be vigilant and don't click anything that you don't know and trust. And that's it from me. And if you have any questions, I would like to answer them.
Wow, that is, I mean, the last three screens looks a little bit of like kind of dodgy, because when you talk about the little theory, that is the one part, but when you show actually the messages, I've received a number of messages in the past, and I'm sure everyone just kind of and text messages, and that was something that, let's prepare the questions. My question, I've got a question already to you, Jakub, is about, you said at the very beginning that updating system is one of the way that we can do on a regular basis. Obviously, the Microsoft and any other kind of solution comes with package. So when you pay monthly, then your system is upgraded, and you don't need to take care of this. It used to be in the past that you need to buy the product, but now obviously everything is up to the subscription. But tell me, because I'm a Mac user, I use I'm a Macaholic. I changed my system a while ago. Is there any difference between a Mac and Windows, or maybe Mac are less vulnerable to get this kind of viruses? Any thought about this?
Yes, if we are speaking about the actual viruses, which are, for example, ransomware, which are encrypting your system and want to have some money of you to decrypt and allow you access to your files, Windows is more prone to that. Mac is more secured, but not because it's more secure, it's because less popular, and the cyber criminals are, they are saying they're developing viruses for Windows because it's more popular. There's better chance that someone will click on the link. However, what I would like to say here is, like I show you this conference recording email, this one. Doesn't matter what system are you using, because the purpose of this email is to steal your password for your email account. Okay, so no matter what you are using Mac or are you using Windows or Linux or whatever, even on the phone, which is something considered pretty much secure. If you enter the password, you are done, no matter what device you are using. So I would say, and this is because if they will get access to your email account, they can get access to probably 99% of your systems, banks, everything. with one exception. Wherever you have two-factor authentication, which I was speaking about before, you are pretty much protected. So even if you lose your password, it is getting stolen. If they haven't got your phone in their hand, they cannot log in anyway.
Yeah, that's fair answer. Ursula, Claudia, Raf, Chris, Anya, if you have any questions, just unmute yourself and just just go for it.
Yes, I will have a question afterwards as well. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, go Chris first. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, is like this cybercrime is not just happening on online as well. It's like through the phone. I just literally got the dodgy call today that it's not just like marketers to try to get data from you, but like any kind of dodgy person who you just don't trust. It looks like a simple 01 number, but once you pick it up, it's you just don't know what to say and you just put the phone down.
Yeah.
What is your general suggestions to react?
I'm always disconnecting. There are a few types of these calls. Some of them are trying to make you again into some dodgy investments. That's the one type of calls I'm receiving. The second type I'm receiving is about that Microsoft is calling. I mean, they are telling that they are Microsoft and they need
your
to
computer, yes, it's
because
broke.
it has been broken, infected, whatever. That's a complete bollocks, sorry. But I would say that, again, if you don't know what they are speaking about, if you don't understand, don't follow up. Call someone you trust, someone so call someone in your family, for example, who knows about computers and ask them, and never allow people to connect to your computer because they need to show you something, for example. Even if they will not steal your password, they can invisibly install some kind of software, which is, for example, sending them your keystrokes. So they can this way steal several of your passwords, even if they have disconnected a week ago. They can still receive what you are typing on the keyboard. So this is really, if it is too late, the best is to disconnect computer from the internet and let someone who knows what they are doing have a look at that.
Ursula, question?
Okay. My computers are quite safe. I get lots of, obviously, scams and emails with viruses, but my systems are always picking up and I didn't have any, touch wood, any problem. But funny enough, yesterday I had a problem with my telephone. Suddenly, people were contacting me, my friends were contacting me and saying that they received some message from me which didn't look right. And of course, it wasn't from me. It was sent from my messenger to people. Someone done it. I don't know who done it, with a link and ask people to obviously encourage people to click on it because it was saying like, I didn't know your pictures were on the website. You look good or something like that, and ask people to click on it. What I did, I went to Facebook and I changed the password quickly, so the game stopped. But it happened first time to me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to deal with it. Obviously, these messages were sent automatically to quite a lot of people in my messenger, but locally stopped when I changed. But I don't know now if changing the password is enough, or shall I do anything else? Is it anything else on my telephone now, or those things like?
Okay, I would say that
good point.
Probably it's not to be done on your telephone. It's on your Facebook account. Okay, so this kind. I'll tell you in a moment what to do. This kind of things are coming from several different sources. It can be a dodgy app on your phone. It can be a app within the Facebook itself. When you click, for example, when you scroll the Facebook and you see, what character from Game of Thrones you are, you click on the quiz or whatever this is, and it asks you. It asks you would you like this app to get access to your data? Because of course they need to have an access, because they need to analyze your profile to tell you what character from Games of Thrones you are. You are allowing them to do so, and they are installing a app within the Facebook. And then this app can become rogue, and it will start sending messages. This is a bit more complicated that I'm explaining it to her, because you need to have some different permissions given to this app, and so on and so on. So changing the password, yes, definitely first thing to do. Secondly, I would recommend putting 2FA on that, so two-factor authentication, which I mentioned. Facebook has it. You can receive text message every time you log on. So if someone steals your password, they cannot log on, because they need to receive text to your phone to log in. And thirdly, and I think most importantly, you need to go into the settings of your Facebook account.
Sorry, to go where?
To the settings of your account on Facebook, and there is a tab named Apps, APPS. And within these apps, you will see that there are probably dozens of the apps you never seen, or you don't remember that you have been using within the Facebook, and remove everything that you don't recognize. You know, there are useful apps. For example, Messenger is an app for Facebook account, but or you can have some I don't know, social media managing modules like Hootsuite, or sorry, I forgot the second one, which is most popular. But in general, or MailChimp, for example, or HubSpot for the difference. So if you recognize the names, leave them, because it will not break any functionality. But if you don't see anything that you recognize, the best is to remove, because these kind of apps are sending these dodgy messages.
Okay, thank you.
Really interesting. I mean, my goodness. Sooner or later, probably everyone will be affected, isn't it? It's just the time is and our kind of cautions really to deal with that. And other questions, or maybe you had an experience, maybe any Claudia, do you have any experience with like bad experience, or you're safe?
Oh, nobody's safe actually.
Hello.
Yeah. I'll give you in a second. Just after Claudia, okay?
Yeah. I was saying nobody is safe. Every one of us have to be careful. My friend had an experience last night with her Facebook, and as Ursula was talking about it, I thought, that means it's very common roundabout now. So Facebook has contacted her, and they are giving her a guide as to how. The thing about it is she's an elderly person. She's running her business. She has some properties, and she's managing them on computer via Facebook, because you know, some people do their business like that. And I think that's the avenue that they're using to tap in. Now, for me, I'm not perfect, but I can recognize a few things. But I'm thinking for maybe the older clients who are just barely learning how to just operate a business on the system. How do they recognize when the fake from the real?
I think that this kind of people will be pushing to get back to these old ways of working very much, because they will not accept that from now on we need to use the internet much more than until we have been using. And honestly speaking, I was thinking about that, and I think that it might be a majority of people who would like to get back to normal. And because of that, we may want to get back to normal, and we'll get back to normal. I don't know. I don't want to predict anything, but I think that this is one of the scenarios that people will push so hard to get back to the old ways of working that we will be there.
Anya, did you want to have a chat?
Hello.
Comment, yeah, hello.
Hello, I'm so sorry, but I cannot do the camera because something's wrong on my workspace. I'm after a cyber actually training earlier on to do with my work. So I had a training with the actually the insurer, which are specializing with the cyber, and that is a massive threat. So obviously to all the clients, I'm insurance brokers, so we kind of making them very, very, very vigilant, because it's actually bigger trend, obviously threat now with robbery or, you know, the material damage to the business. Because, you know, if they, for example, going to get access at 5 o'clock today, and the company going to turn back to work on Monday morning with no computers, that's it, the business is gone. So like Jakub was saying about, obviously way how they accessing, obviously we can stupidly get they can get access via the third party as well, which obviously our security can be very strong. However, if they're gonna go by someone else and they kind of opening the door and they don't care who we are, whether we're running a multi-million pounds business or we are just a sole trader, you don't matter. So on that perspective, you know, if you want to find out more, please let me know. I'm happy to help out and show you examples of the claims we've been recently receiving as well.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit broke up with the connections, but good point. You know, it's good that, you know, you're having that kind of training, really, because we all need to kind of refresh what's new on the market, really, and just share ourselves. Listen, last part of the event is you know what, we did really well. It's nearly an hour, you know. And I think this is fantastic. If you don't have any further questions,
I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask what are reputable sources of security, because you mentioned a few in the early parts, the VPN and so on.
In general, there are no, I don't have anything like a list of websites that I recommend. I think you know, there is a bit of the trust thing in here. That probably is best to speak to some IT support provider to establish, you know, what is the best for you, because not every solution will be good for everyone. That is the point. That you know, you can spend lots of money, and if you don't understand the product that you are using, for example, VPN in this case, you can be overpaying, or if you can be not using in a way that it is good for you. You know, what about the VPN? You have a VPN, but if you have no other systems properly protected, this is you know, the case is that it's an overall solution, in my opinion. It's not about doing one bit and thinking that you are secure. So best is to speak to someone if you are concerned, of course. If you feel that you are okay, you know, nobody will tell you differently, but I think it's worth from time to time to speak to some people. I would say that there are several good websites on the web, but in general, they are not covering, you know, from start to finish. They will cover, for example, technical side of the things. And if you are not tech savvy, then you get bored. There are several websites which are telling, you know, basics, but you know, this is common sense in many cases, and you will not have a solution. The same with the kind of rankings. For example, you can have best VPNs for small business, for example. But first of all, is it a UK-based ranking, for example? Is it good for you? Because again, you know, you can spend, I don't know, £30 a month, and you may find out that the VPN, which costs you £3 a month, is equally good for you. Yeah. So there is no oracle anywhere. I would say, you know, get in touch with someone who you trust and listen to what they can recommend to you.
Would your service offer that consultation?
Yes, I can consult you if you like.